Hi, I'm Talicza.
And I'm Rachael, and this is Transatlantic Crime, a true crime podcast that covers stories from each side of the pond. Every week, we will both cover a separate story with a running theme.
Disclaimer, this podcast will contain swearing and details that some people may find offensive. If you are of a sensitive disposition, listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to Transatlantic Crime.
So close.
Taking his first Facebook picture.
A dad figuring out how to FaceTime his children.
Just opening your phone and seeing the underneath of your chin. Always unnecessary and horrible. Yeah, how's it going, mate?
Oh, pretty good. I am glad the week is over. How about you?
Yeah, I know. This week was tough, and I don't know why. Like, I was honestly, for the last 2 nights, I fell asleep at 9:30 with no sleep aid.
Wow,
just fell asleep. Yeah, it was mental.
That sounds amazing.
That's what it is. Mercury's got to be in retrograde or something, mate. It's always the case.
That's the answer for all
Constantly.
of weird things happening in life. It's just Mercury.
Also, as a Virgo, Mercury is my planet apparently.
Really? Oh.
Yeah. Do you know what yours is?
No. Let me find out.
What star sign are you? You're a Taurus, aren't you?
Yes, I am a Taurus. Venus.
Ooh, sexy.
Sexy. Do you know what your moon and rising signs are?
Yeah, my sun sign. What your sun sign is like? Is your sun sign your main one?
Yes.
I don't know.
So
anyway,
Virgo
I'm
is
Virgo
your sun.
Yeah, and then I've got Pisces as my rising.
Okay.
Which is why I'm have you ever seen that meme that's me when I'm angry and then me when I'm apologizing for being angry? So it's like a cat that's furious and then a cat that's crying.
Yes. Pisces are very emotional. That's my moon.
I'm like, I hate you. Oh, I'm like, I hate you, and then I'm like, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I've got Taurus sun, Pisces moon, and Leo rising.
Ooh, what does that mean?
I don't know.
Show off.
I don't know.
we haven't got time for this.
Yeah,
This is 8 a.m.
This is not this kind of podcast.
I do love it though. I love all that shit, and it always every single guy is like, oh, I don't know why you believe in that. And I'm like, oh, typical Gemini, not believing. Just to wind them up.
Yeah, you're the one who put me onto the pattern app, which kind of matches up with all of that stuff. It's very accurate.
Yeah.
Any of our listeners, if you're into that stuff, then look up the pattern app. Become friends with us. We'll see how well we match up together.
Yeah, you can join up with other people, can't you, that have it? Yeah, it's pretty cool. And see how good friends you are.
Yeah.
Again, doesn't sponsor us.
No.
We shouldn't be talking about this unless they give us some money.
Pattern app, please give us money. We will talk about you all day. I would gladly do that.
Okay, so who goes first this week?
Okay, we're getting straight into it. So it's me. So this is part 2 of our mess up from last week.
So I thought we were doing Hitmen and you thought we were doing Scientology.
Yes.
And mate, I'm not joking. This week to say I've been in a Scientology hole would be a light description.
Yes.
I've been listening non-stop to the Leah Remini Fair Game podcast. Fucking loving it.
It's good, right?
It's such a good podcast.
Yeah.
And then last night I'm at the guy that I'm seeing's house and I was like, I need to watch this Scientology program for research. And he was like, okay, let me watch it. It was on his Now TV and I was like, oh no, we can't watch it because it's a Hulu. It's on a Hulu channel.
Yeah.
So you have to pay extra. And I was like, oh, we can't watch it. And then I accidentally pressed a button and I swear to God it was an accident. And it just signed him up.
Oh no.
For Hulu. And I was like, sorry.
Oopsie. I guess we can watch it now.
Yeah, exactly that. He was like, I went out the room for 2 seconds.
Oh no. So you watched it though, right?
Yeah, and I was like just talking at his face
What was
about
it?
Scientology.
What was the show?
It was Scientology The Aftermath.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But it's on its like third season now or something.
Yeah, Leah
Ridiculous.
Remini's Aftermath one?
Yeah, Leah Remini and Mike Rinder.
Yeah.
The first one we watched was about, they were talking to Jehovah's Witnesses, and that was really boring. And then he was like, this is a bit boring. And I was like, don't worry, I'll get a good one. And then we got into the good stuff.
Okay.
Like where people are being punched in the face. So, yeah.
The exciting part. Since we're already talking about Scientology, I'll tell you all the things that people were telling me after listening to our episode. So I had...
Oh my God.
So my friend, I forgot to mention this last time too. You know how last week I was too drunk to record and...
best video ever. Oh yeah, I was still waiting for your permission to like put it. I'm so glad you put it in the episode. It's so good. I'm also wondering if I can put it on Instagram.
Maybe wait a little bit.
No, it's too far.
Maybe in stories, but not on the grid.
All right then, I'll put it on
stories.
Oh my
gosh.
No, I won't. You don't want me to.
Put a filter on my face or something.
Okay, maybe I'll keep it for my personal collection. Or we'll put it on Patreon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
If you want to see the video.
Sure. It's only like a minute. It's less than a minute. Well, everyone heard it if you listened to last week's episode.
Best minute of my life. Yeah, go on.
But anyways, my friend that I was out with, she's a dancer and she's a performer, and she told me that she performed at the Scientology Celebrity Center.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she said it was a really weird experience, and they kept trying to like recruit all the dancers, and she just got out there as fast as she could. And she didn't know until she got there that it was Scientology.
What? So the invitation didn't say address Scientology
No,
Center?
it was like it was just like the venue address. And she didn't know.
Oh man, it's such a like overwhelming building as well.
It
like is. When you get there, you'd be like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, stomach drops as soon as you see it.
Oh, it's terrible.
Someone else told me that in Ireland they had a friend who was paid a lot of money to translate a bunch of Scientology literature into Irish. They're trying to
Who's reading that?
Trying to get you. They're trying to get everyone in all different ways.
Any which way.
Yeah. Who is reading that, I wonder?
There's so many words, though, that, like, wouldn't translate.
It's
like,
so true.
Like, Welsh is a really old language.
Yeah. I was telling my friend the other day about Welsh and how, like, more modern words, when they bring it into the Welsh language, they just replace the vowels with W's. I'm sure I'll get yelled at by a Welsh person, but it's true.
It is. It's just fucking old.
Yeah.
So it's
Irish
hasn't really like
Gaelic does that as well. It's like if like a new word, like in Scientology, like Thetan. What would that be in Gaelic? They just put a little thing above the
Thetan.
E.
Yeah. Have your language, that's fine, but
yeah.
It's all bollocks anyway, so it doesn't really matter what language you read it in.
Right.
Yeah. I'm so excited to hear your story.
So, okay. Well, shall we get into it? I'm first, right?
Yeah.
Or did you have any other Scientology stories?
No, I'll try and cover it all in my story, otherwise I'll get excited and give stuff away.
Okay.
I'm so excited.
All right. Talicza, you are going to love this one.
Yeah?
I know it's one of your favorite things to watch on TV, and it's very similar.
Ooh, okay.
This is the story of Thomas Pitera, aka Tommy Karate.
Ah.
By the way, I know that we explained the Scientology part, but I'm doing famous hitmen. So, Thomas Patera was born December 2nd, 1954 to Joseph and Catherine Pitera. He was the second of two children. His older sister's name was Teresa. In all of my research, she never popped up again. So, Teresa, I hope you're doing great.
Probably best for her.
Yes.
Yeah, just stay out of the way.
Yeah. he grew up in Gravesend, Brooklyn, New York, where his dad was a candy salesman. And I love that they kept this in the Wikipedia information. His dad was a candy salesman that sold Mary Jane's, Pixie Sticks, Red Hots, Lemon Drops, and Bazooka bubblegum. Not relevant.
Fucking hell. Specific.
Yeah. Also, Mary Jane's were
else.
gross. They were the worst thing to get in your Halloween bag.
What are they?
It's like peanut butter taffy, super old-fashioned.
Bit like a Werther's original.
No, Werther's Originals taste good.
Oh, okay.
These were like, they were so cheap and like, that's what the cheap people would get on Halloween because they're like 25 cents for a bag. And
like eating filler.
Yeah, exactly. Slightly peanut butter flavored filler.
Okay, gross.
So Patera was known to be a small and quiet child, and he was bullied quite a lot for his high-pitched voice. He had a high-pitched voice throughout his whole life.
That's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
So you could just put on a lower pitched voice.
That would be really hard to maintain.
But there is. You'd forget, and people would be like, "What?
Yeah. You okay, Tommy?"
Yeah.
So, yeah, he was bullied because of his high-pitched voice. In high school, he wanted to join the varsity baseball team because when he grew up, he wanted to be a professional baseball player. But because he had no friends and was routinely beaten up by bullies, he was ostracized from the team. So they didn't even let him onto the team.
Bastard.
I know. There's a really good A&E episode about him, and they were like, he just got beat up every day and he would run home crying. How do they know that?
Oh my God. What a life.
I know.
Kids are so horrible.
Yeah.
School was horrible, wasn't it?
Yeah, especially in the 60s. I mean, racism,
anything.
classism.
Something wrong with your shirt.
Yeah.
Like, just...
You've got a weird tooth.
You got something on your back.
Yeah. Something on
a weird tooth. You were just victimized for... You were always on guard.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So he was beaten up a lot. He was ostracized from the varsity baseball team. He took revenge by stealing the team's equipment and he sold them to a fence. Do you know what a fence is in like gang terms?
Well, I know what a fence is generally.
A fence is a term or a word for like somebody who gets stolen goods and then resells them. Like, oh, I got this off the back of a truck. Okay. That's what a fence is in like mob terms.
We say, oh, it fell off the back of a lorry.
Yeah.
Again, yeah. I thought it literally meant that. No, it's a metaphor for someone stole it. But I didn't realise that for a very long time.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I was in the same boat for a long time until probably very recently.
Yeah.
Because it's also kind of fun to imagine something just falling off the back of a truck.
Well, it's far less sinister.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what a stroke of good luck.
Yeah.
Some goods that I needed. They're in perfect condition and not covered in tarmac and dents.
Exactly.
At all.
He was soon arrested for burglary for that and charged as a juvenile. Nothing really happened with that. He moved his interest from becoming a pro baseball player to karate after he became obsessed with the 1966 TV series The Green Hornet, starring martial arts actor Bruce Lee. You've mentioned Bruce Lee before in one of your stories.
Oh, yeah. Someone's name, wasn't it?
Yeah, he changed his name.
Changed his name to Bruce Lee. What tool.
Yeah. Check out our episode on arson if you haven't listened to that.
Yeah.
So he asked his parents if he could join a karate class, and they agreed. So he joined a dojo where he had a daily regimen of working out, lifting weights, and reading about Kyokushin fighting strategies and tactics. And Kyokushin in Japanese is a form of full contact karate. So he was fully getting into it.
He's serious.
He is. He quickly became one of the top students in his class. He also watched every kung fu film that came out, and he loved violent movies. Like Bruce Lee and other kung fu stars, he grew out his hair past his ears, much to the disapproval of his parents, who didn't want him to look like, in quotes, a hippie.
And he had a really high voice.
Yeah.
Now we're taking the piss.
I'm sorry, Tommy.
I just got caught up in the mob mentality.
Yeah. So after he graduated high school, he entered a karate tournament where he won all 7 matches. This won him a scholarship to study karate in Japan. His scholarship was for a year, but he stayed in Japan for 27 months, getting a job at a chopstick factory after his scholarship ended. Along with the karate,
Wow.
he trained to use the tonfa, nunchucks, and katanas. So tonfa is like the wooden thing that kind of goes along your forearm that they hold.
Okay.
And then nunchucks, everyone knows what nunchucks are. And katana is like a sword, the samurai sword, basically.
Wow.
So he trained to use all of those. He also immersed himself in all aspects of Japanese culture, studying everything from diet to faith to discipline.
He must have been really good at Japanese by that point.
Yeah, I think he just he was really serious about it. And I think you'll find that after we talk about him that he's a little bit of a, well, he's not a little bit of a, he is a psychopath. So
right.
I feel like once a psychopath gets serious about something, they get really good at it.
Yeah.
So all of this built up his ego, and he began to see himself as invincible. When he returned to Brooklyn in 1976 at 22 years old, despite his still high-pitched voice, his new demeanor, and I put in little brackets, and rock-solid abs, because I saw so many things.
I'm back!
Yeah. So many things that I read and watched were like, he came back and he was just pure iron, just all muscle.
He's just been eating sushi, and
rice and seaweed,
like, chopping stuff in half.
Right. So it made him someone to be feared in the neighborhood. He already knew what he wanted to do. He headed straight to the local bar where mob members were known to spend time at. He made friends with a Bonanno mob member. So have you heard of the Bonannos?
No,
okay.
Kind of like it. I don't know if it's because it's 8 a.m. and I feel like I'm going mad, but I feel like you just made that up. Like,
I've never heard of them before this either. It sounds like
Bonanno.
I'm saying banana really poshly.
Banana.
Yes.
Oh, can I have a banana?
Yes. It's spelled Bonanno.
Fine.
Okay.
No, I haven't heard of them.
Well, they're on par with the Gambinos and John Gotti and all those mob people. They were another big mob family.
Okay.
So he made friends with Bonanno mob member Anthony Bruno Indelicato, and not long after, Patera became his protege. I can't say that word right now. Protege. Yes. So he was making runs for Indelicato, and he was distributing heroin. He also became Indelicato's strong arm for when people didn't pay up. He used his karate skills to rough up anyone the Bonanno family asked him to, earning him the nickname Tommy Karate.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Imaginative. To be fair, I have to refer to the person that I'm seeing as Hot Tub Tom because I've got a brother called Tom, and everyone's like, which Tom do you mean? And then my brother Tom got a hot tub, and I was like, come on, man.
Oh, no. Can you please start calling one of them Tommy Karate?
Yeah, all right then.
Give him that.
Yeah, all right.
So Indelicato was also the go-to guy for hits. With his name, so Indelicato, his nickname was Whack Whack. Whack Whack and Tommy Karate.
What is the leader of this gang? 5?
He wasn't a leader. He was just like Whack Whack. Hey, go call Whack Whack to make another whack.
Wow. What a code.
Really imaginative names, but very on the nose.
No wonder the FBI were flummoxed.
So Whack Whack, he had that nickname because he had killed so many people for the Bonannos. He took Tommy Karate under his wing and showed him the best way to hide a murder, which was dismembering the body and putting it in suitcases. Tommy, wanting to move up in the mob family, again immersed himself, this time into the art of murder. He studied books on dissection, murder, and how to mutilate bodies. He owned a book series called How to Kill that described all the different ways to kill and hide bodies.
Where are these books and why haven't we read them?
I'll see if we can put them on the book list. I don't know if they're banned like Mein Kampf.
Yeah.
Like, who's actually reading them?
Do you know, that's really funny. I thought about that yesterday, about the fact that I kind of want to read Mein Kampf just to say that I've read it. And then I was like, can you imagine just going to the till with it like, hello?
No.
It's not going to look good, is it?
No.
It's going to and it's going to fuck up all your your internet history. Like, you're going to get suggestions for shit. Like, I don't.
Also, if anyone comes
idea.
to your house and sees that on your bookshelf, Talicza.
I know.
To be clear, Talicza is not a Nazi or a white supremacist.
Not at all. Not at all. I think white men are awful. Yeah, I just kind of want to read Mein Kampf but then it will just be the ramblings of a madman.
Yeah, exactly. A cocaine-fueled madman.
Yeah, drugged up maniac.
I wonder if Tommy Karate read that. He probably did. He sounds like a reader.
Mm-hmm.
So at 24 years old, he was ready for his first hit. The Bonanno family gave him the contract. He received an envelope with a name, photo, and location of a person. He didn't know who it was. Patera tracked him down a street in Brooklyn, walked up to him and shot him, and then walked away. Soon after, and nothing happened. He wasn't caught or anything. Soon after, he was made a member of the Bonanno crime family. So he was in. And did you know that when you get into the mob, you have to go through a whole ritual? And you have to burn a saint card and cut your finger.
Mate, I've watched The Sopranos.
Yeah, but I didn't think that was real. But I guess it is.
Yeah. I trust David Chase and his artistic license completely. He would not fuck me around.
No, he's not a liar.
Nope.
So he was accepted into the crime family. He was given a crew of drug dealers and started making more money for himself and for the Bonannos. When members of his crew didn't pay up or listen to the family, Pitera would decide it was time for him to go. If he felt someone knew too much about him, he would decide that it was time for that person to go. If he was suspicious about someone being a rat, again, he would decide that it was their time to go.
And
Seems
a bit trigger happy.
Yeah, he would even murder other gangs' drug dealers so that he could steal their goods. So he was going to the African American gangs or the Indian gangs or whatever. There was nothing that he wouldn't touch, basically, including women, which is a big mob no-no.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Which we'll talk about in a second. So his reputation as a cold-blooded killer extended to other mob families, including the Gambinos, whose member Edward Lino had allegedly called Patera to help him on a hit on an informant. So he was even being called by other gangs to come do hits because he was just so cold.
Yeah, that's good.
So he wasn't just a killer. He was methodical in how to dispose of the bodies. And if you don't like gruesome stuff, then fast forward maybe a minute, because there's a lot of stuff I'm about to talk about.
Fast forward 45 minutes.
Yes. So his murders were usually accompanied by a special toolkit that he made that helped him in dismembering. He would place a body in a bathtub, let the blood drain out. An eyewitness who saw him murder a man called Talal Siksik. An eyewitness told the author of this book that he saw Patera kill someone. The book is called The Butcher, Anatomy of a Mafia Psychopath. And so this is what he saw Patera do with the man's body, in quotes. He walked to the bathroom, got undressed, neatly folding his clothes. Then, without a second thought, he got in the tub with the body. He turned on the water in a steady flow so the blood would be immediately washed down the drain. Without hesitation, Patera proceeded to remove Talal's head, arms, and legs. When the body was in 6 pieces, Patera calmly put what was left of Talal inside the trunk. With that, he turned up the force of the water, washing down the remnants of the blood. He then took a long, careful shower, got out of the bathtub, and casually began to dry himself. In that instance, he drove the body to the William T. Davis Wildlife Refuge on Staten Island, where he and his crew buried the suitcase that held the dismembered body parts. He used the wildlife refuge to ensure the bodies were not discovered during construction projects. So that was like his spot to go all the time.
I get that, but like, I think putting something in a suitcase is like a surefire way to suggest human involvement. Whereas like, if he just buried the bits of the body, you could say like, oh, they went out hiking, or make it look more like an accident, maybe? But I guess suitcases are easy to transport in.
Yeah, and bury.
He must have gone through a lot of suitcases.
Yeah, I think he did go through a lot of suitcases. And I think in this guy's case, he was very clean in how he dismembered bodies, so it could never be considered an accident because he was a psychopath.
Yeah,
he was just super methodical and did it in the correct, in quotes, correct way, so that it was very clean and neat, which I find very interesting.
Also, like, even if you're having a shower in the same bath that you just cut a body up in, there'd just be fucking blood everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, you just don't, it gets everywhere. Even if you like cut your finger or like cut your toe or something, like it just gets fucking everywhere. Like a week later you'll be like, oh my god, like there's a little spot of blood there.
Right.
Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. And that's why I think like
a whole body.
He's definitely a psychopath that he could get into a tub with a dead body and do all of this and then just shower off afterwards and go on to the next thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Also, like, with the like, if you ever watched The Sopranos, if you haven't, what the fuck are you doing? Go and watch it now. Because the mob is so big, they don't want to get you on like one murder charge.
Yes.
They want to get you on something. They want to get someone who's like if he got taken out, that he would just simply get replaced.
Right.
By another hitman.
Right.
So there's no point unless they want to get him and try and make him flip and tell them everything, which is really frowned upon. Like, if you're caught by the FBI and offered a deal, you have to just take the prison time.
Yeah. Well,
like, and
we'll
come out in 30 years. Like,
we're going to get into that.
Okay.
So where was I? Okay, so he buried them in the wildlife refuge. He also used the Staten Island graveyard to bury bodies because he believed that the damp soil would accelerate decomposition. He always insisted on burying corpses deep enough so that the police dogs could not locate their scents. And before burying the bodies, he either wrapped them in plastic or, like we mentioned, put them in suitcases.
Burying shit in a graveyard, perfect plan.
Yeah.
So clever.
By the early 1980s, he had married, had a child, and then soon divorced. Nothing more about them either. They must be completely disconnected from him.
Yeah, I would.
So by now he's made like pretty good amount of money. He invested some of the money in 2 bars, the Cypress Bar and Grill, and the Just Us Bar, which he used as his headquarters, which just reminds me of the Sopranos Bada Bing strip club. If you look up a picture of Just Us Bar, it's like the same kind of like jovial writing, kind of. It's like, you know, like jovial. 2 dice, like happy writing. Yeah. Just Us Bar.
So what, the bars weren't strip clubs, they were just bars?
I don't know. I think maybe Just Us Bar
I guess they were like money laundering, aren't they?
Yeah.
That's what they're primarily for, is so you can say, right, this is where all my money comes from.
Right, exactly. Soon after his divorce, he met a woman named Celeste Lipari. Celeste was fine with Pitera's lifestyle. The only issue was that she was addicted to drugs. Pitera hated this, obviously because he sold drugs and saw what it did to people. He went out of his way and intimidated all of the local drug dealers and warned them to stay away from Celeste and to not sell her any drugs. Man, that would be terrifying.
That's one way.
Yeah.
Just reminds me of The Simpsons, where like Bart's not allowed to watch the Itchy and Scratchy movie.
Oh, yeah.
and Homer goes and puts posters on every cinema being like, "Do not sell to this boy."
So good. Yeah, that's what Patera did. But it worked to an extent. Celeste had a friend named Phyllis Birdie who got the drugs for her, and they often partied and got high together.
Get your mate to do it.
Yeah.
Like, that's really naive. That's somebody that doesn't take drugs.
Right? I know.
That's their attitude.
So, yeah, those two girls would get high and party together. Patera told them to stop hanging out, and they did around him, but behind his back, Celeste and Phyllis would still hang out. On September...
Of course.
Yeah, they're friends.
They're like teenage girls.
What?
Like,
I mean, early...
So teenagery.
I mean, mid-20s, you're still kind of being a little bit teenagery sometimes. You're still hanging on to it.
I think, like in your mid-20s, you don't go, someone's telling me what to do.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Right.
Get rid of them.
Yeah.
You go, I'll just lie about what I'm doing.
I'm gonna sneak around instead. That's easier.
I'm gonna keep the shit person and then just sneak around and lie anyway. Yeah. Whereas now, if someone told me what to do, I go, fuck off.
Right. Okay, bye.
Yeah.
So, on September 10th, 1987, Celeste and Phyllis began partying in a Brooklyn bar, and they went back to Phyllis's apartment. Celeste shot up some heroin to fall asleep. They had been doing coke, and she needed something to help her sleep. She never woke up from that.
Oh, dear.
Patera was informed of Celeste's death by one of his closest friends, Frank Gange, who was dating Phyllis. So, they were both dating these two girls. Patera did not hold back, and after Phyllis and Frank Gange partied for 2 days, I feel like they knew what was coming, so they just went on a bender for 2 days.
Right.
So at the end of those 2 days, Phyllis went back to Frank Gange's apartment, and Patera broke into Gange's home, shot Phyllis, cover your ears or fast forward again, but shot Phyllis, severed her head, dismembered her body, and buried the body in his personal cemetery. Like, this was personal to him. He kept her head in his freezer.
Dude!
Yeah, he was mad.
Oh my god.
So Frank Gange, the guy that told him and who was his best friend, he was arrested not long after on a DUI charge, and he was sent to jail. While in jail, he began talking to a detective and was persuaded to become an informant. Up until this point, Patera did his best to evade police or federal agents. He would cover his mouth when he went on walk talks with other gangsters. He would use evasive tactics when driving his car to a meeting. He would switch cars, he would wear disguises, and he never ever talked on the phone. But Gange's eyewitness accounts were what ultimately helped authorities catch Patera. So
I wonder how they convinced him.
He seemed like he was very much into drugs. He had just seen his girlfriend murdered by his best friend. I think he was...
Yeah, that's probably what did it.
At the lowest point of his life and was like, where can I go from here? There's nowhere.
Plus, like, he might kill me if I get out anyway, so fuck it. I might as well do the whole witness protection thing.
They interviewed him on the A&E thing that I watched.
Really?
Yeah, and they like covered his face and they changed his voice, but he was like, I don't know if I would have... He felt guilty either way. He was like, I don't like that I turned into a rat, but I also don't like that I was a part of murders and that. So he just sounds like a broken man.
Yeah, well, you have made quite the mess of your life there, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, in early June 1990, investigators headed to the Staten Island Wildlife Refuge off of a tip from Gange. After 3 days of digging, they found body after body dismembered and buried in plastic bags or suitcases in shallow graves. This was one of the final pieces of evidence that authorities needed to charge Pitera. He was arrested on June 4th, 1990 for heading a drug dealing crew. So he was arrested on drug charges as well as his involvement in 7 murders. Investigators alleged that Patera had been involved in as many as 600 murders, but they pinned him on 7.
And that's still a respectable amount.
Yes.
In terms of like serial killers.
Yes, that's true. The drugs that he was charged on, they said that he sold about 220 pounds of cocaine per year, multiple kilos of heroin, and hundreds of pounds of marijuana. FBI agents discovered more than 60 automatic weapons, knives, swords, and literature such as the Hitman's Handbook and Kill or Be Killed, which dealt primarily with assassination techniques as well as torturing and dismembering cadavers in Patera's apartment in Gravesend, Brooklyn. Investigators also discovered that Patera collected trophies from his victims, as they found a stash of jewelry like wedding rings and things like that, and also even small body parts like ears from certain victims.
No.
Yeah. He liked keeping trophies. He went to trial. Yes. At trial, prosecution fought for Patera to get the death penalty. Gange testified against Patera, admitting to the many murders he witnessed and that he took part in. He also got a pretty sweet plea deal. Gange did, for basically spilling the beans on his friend. He claimed that seeing his girlfriend's head on the side of a bathtub as Patera dismembered her body was an image that will stay with Gange forever.
Yeah. It's not the one, is it?
No. Prosecution also brought up a member of the DEA who was there the day that they dug up the bodies of the wildlife refuge. So they were just bringing up all these people that had witnessed, and the DEA agent was like, it was the worst day of my life, basically. Patera's defense lawyer, David A. Runke, urged the jury to reject the death penalty on the grounds that Patera had no prior criminal record and that other participants in the murders were allowed to plead guilty to lesser charges. I don't know how you can fight for a mob boss to that he hasn't had other criminal charges against him, probably because he paid off the cops.
I'm too tired to even like...
Unfathomable. It's like... Can't say words today.
Unfathomable. Fathomable.
I know.
It's like we're drunk.
Oh. Drunk with lack of sleep.
Drunk with life just kicking me up the ass.
Yes.
Like, honestly, yesterday, right, there was a woman at the post office, and it's a bank holiday weekend this weekend in England. Yeah. So Monday, the post office is shut, right?
Yeah.
And you know, I've been on this massive eBay kick. So like, I had to post something today, otherwise it wouldn't have gone in time. So I went to the post office, and like, it's the post office that time forgot. It's like the smallest place in the world. Like, you can buy like a will on the shelf.
Oh my god.
Like, you can buy like a receipt book.
Oh no.
Just
a typewriter.
Like dust. Yeah, like, it's like a really weird place. And this woman was at the front of the queue, and in my head I was like, oh my god, hurry the fuck up. And I was like, oh my god, I just want to fucking like push her out of the way. And I was just like, I'm getting like I'm like, that's unreasonable. Like, she's just taking a while at the post office. And then like, this person, like, I don't know, like, I kind of indicated like a little bit late, but it wasn't like dangerous.
Yeah.
And this fucking cunt like beeped at me, and I was like, oh my god, I hope you die. And I was like, that was a bit much. I was like maybe I've got like anger issues.
I think you just need some sleep, Talicza.
Yeah,
I think we all do.
Is that reasonable?
Yeah.
They beeped me a little bit, and I was like, I hope your car literally crashes. I was like, bit much.
Maybe go home and have some tea or something if you feel that way.
Chill the fuck out, Christ.
Take a nap. Okay, so
anyway, at least I'm not this guy.
Yeah. He sounds like he would say that with no qualm.
Yeah.
Okay, so his lawyers asking that they don't give him the death penalty because apparently he had no prior criminal record. Moreover, only 2 of the murder victims, Richard Leone and Solomon Stern, were killed on March 15th, 1989, after the federal death penalty law went into effect. So they're saying that the death penalty was just introduced, but those 2 people were killed before the death penalty, which I don't think that matters at all.
Just those 2?
Apparently, yeah.
There's still 5 more.
Yeah.
That we're after.
Exactly.
Clutching at straws, doesn't even cover, how they're doing here.
Exactly. The 4 other murders took place earlier, so those counts carried maximum sentences of life in prison. So that's what his lawyers were asking for. Patera's aunt, sister-in-law, and 2 cousins testified on Patera's defense that he was a loving and caring family member. Although Pitera never took the stand. It
doesn't matter what you say.
No. Imagine.
There's about 50 suitcases filled with human remains.
Dude,
he's a nice guy. That's not enough.
Yeah. Oh, he brought cake to my birthday last year. It was great.
Woman's
Such a nice
head
guy.
in freezer next to said birthday cake. There's no way to sugarcoat this.
Yeah.
He's a monster.
Exactly. I know I keep mentioning this A&E documentary, which I'm going to look up the name of right now. It's called Mobsters, Tommy Karate Patera, and it's season 3, episode 4 on A&E. You can find it on YouTube. I watched it on YouTube. But they have actual footage of them digging up the bodies in the refuge place. I was shocked that it was on YouTube.
All of I always found it did you ever watch the West Memphis 3?
Yeah.
At the beginning of that, they fully show dead bodies of the kids.
I know.
And I'm like, oh my God.
Not ready for this.
I know you got to get crime scene footage, but a fucking heads up would have been nice.
Right.
Excuse the pun.
Yeah, do what we do and say, fast forward 15 seconds if you don't want to see this.
Oh man, yeah. And the end of There's Something Wrong with Aunt Diane as well.
Oh yeah. As
a heads up, they show really fucking insanely graphic pictures of her.
Oh,
which I was not ready for.
No, me neither.
Really
Can't
stuck in my mind, that one. It's horrible.
Yeah. Well, watch it on YouTube if you are interested in seeing that kind of stuff. On June 25th, 1992, Patera was convicted of murdering 6 people and supervising a massive drug dealing operation in Brooklyn. As the jury deliberated on what his sentence would be, whether it was the death penalty or life in prison, apparently Patera turned to a DEA agent and said, "I bet you they don't have the balls to kill me." He was talking about the jury.
Oh, you fucking smug prick. I hope they kill you now.
Well, apparently they didn't have the balls to kill him.
No!
The death penalty was rejected and Patera was sentenced to life in prison instead. So that was 1992. He was sent away to prison. He tried to appeal. It didn't work. He tried a couple of times. The last time was in 2012. But as of this year, 2021, Patera is serving life in prison at the Federal Correctional Complex in Allenwood, Pennsylvania. He had taken the code of silence and never spoken about or given away anyone else in the mob. So he's never talked, unlike his pal Gange. Nice. He currently has an Instagram account where he showcases and sells his art that he draws from prison.
Oh my God, I'm so looking that up.
And that is the story of Tommy Karate Patera. And if you want to look up his Instagram, it's at Tommy Karate Patera Artwork. And each picture,
he must be so old as well.
He's like 60 something. He was born in 1954. So he's like not even 70 yet.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But he's drawn pictures of himself. He has self-portraits. He has pictures of Tony Soprano, Marilyn Monroe, Lizzie Borden.
Oh my God, all my interests.
And they're all $350 each. I will tell you, they're not good. He's not good.
Okay. That was going to be my next question. Like, are they actually any good? No,
I don't think so. It's like when you were in high school and you had art class and like the best student in art class, them drawing Marilyn Monroe.
I know exactly what you mean.
Thank you.
Like you've made that come across so fucking well. Like, you know who it is.
Yeah.
Immediately.
And everyone in high school is like, oh my God, that's so good. But then it also isn't.
They're the best artists.
Yes.
Like, that was me. I thought I was it. And I'm basically Tony Pitera.
Pencil drawings of Tony Soprano.
That's me. Honestly, it really is.
Yeah, check out his Instagram.
That's a great story.
And yeah, that is the famous hitman, Tommy Karate Patera. I just love it. Tommy Karate. Hey, I'm Tommy Karate.
Hey, I'm Tommy Karate. Hey, oh, hey,
Oh,
here he is
hey,
with the karate.
oh, hey.
Hey, he's with the karate. He kind of reminds me of like the Iceman.
Yeah, I almost did him.
Yeah, I went down a bit of an Iceman hole as well recently.
Yeah.
Because the guy who does Small Town Murder is obsessed with the Iceman.
Oh.
What's he called? Richard Klinsky.
Yes.
And he
looks terrifying, by the way.
Oh, he is. And he just doesn't mind killing people.
Yeah.
He would have been, if he hadn't have met mob people, he just would have been a mass murderer.
Mm.
But he found someone who was willing to pay him for it, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know why, like, people think of hitmen like, oh, they do it for a job, so
no.
Like, not that it's not as bad, but like, it's kind of not seen as bad.
You're just utilizing,
like, especially in the mob and stuff.
You're being smart about it, I guess. I mean, like,
You're making a business out of your hobby.
Yeah, exactly. Like Ted Bundy and just name any other serial killer. They were stupid. All you gotta do is walk into a mob bar and ask for a job, and they'll protect you and help you do what you want to do.
But Richard Klinsky, the Iceman, never killed a woman.
Mm.
Never in all his time.
Yeah.
And he killed like over 100 people.
Yeah.
So it's just like, and that's one of the things in the mob, isn't it? Like,
right.
You don't kill women, you don't kill families.
I
like,
think
even
that's
in prison,
another...
there's like a code.
Right. I think that's
no women and children.
Another element of why Gange ratted him out, because it was like, you just killed a woman and it was my girlfriend.
Yeah.
That's not cool. Yeah.
No. Okay. I'm getting comfy.
All right.
Right. So, as I said, I've been in a huge hole.
Yes.
So,
yes.
This is like,
lay it on me, Talicza. Let's hear it.
I'm doing The Disappearance of Shelly Miscavige.
Ooh,
yeah.
Yes. This is a good continuation from what we talked about last week.
Yeah, 100%. So, as like a quick, this isn't written down, but just as like a quick, like, if you don't know about Scientology, made up by a guy called Ron Hubbard, who is from East Grinstead in England, and he was a sci-fi writer and somehow managed to convince loads of people that this was a religion, when it's just like a business, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, they make you pay to do courses that are going to teach you how to unlock your true potential,
right.
And it kind of just stinks of the whole like NXIVM cult, like,
yeah, for sure,
kind of vibe. So anyway, Michelle Diane Barnett, that was her maiden name, was born on January the 18th, 1961. But she was called Michelle, but everyone just called her Shelley. So her mum, Mary Florence Flo Barnett, was a long-time Scientologist, and she was married to Maurice Elliott Barnett. So I can't really find out much about them apart from her mum was a Scientologist. I don't know if her dad was really into it, or sometimes, like, if you meet a Scientologist, you have to become one.
Yeah.
Like, you can't date outside of Scientology, basically.
Right.
So I don't know if he was born one or if he became one, but so they had Shelley. And in Scientology, children aren't considered to be children. They're just considered to be small adults.
Yeah.
So basically their belief is that you have, your soul is like a thetan.
Yeah.
That's their word for soul. And it's had like many lives before you, and it'll have many lives after you.
So it's not an age, which means like if you're a kid, it doesn't matter.
yeah, your body is young, but your spirit is
Right. Which is ridiculous.
still the same. Yeah, really, really fucking stupid, and just a way to get kids to do slave labor, basically. So,
and not have to
from the
worry
age
about
of-
teaching them or taking care of them, really.
or letting them have any fun.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So from the age of 12, she was a member of the Commodores messenger organization, the CMO, which is a special division of the Sea Org. So the Sea Org is a division of Scientology where originally, like, they were actually out on a ship because Ron Hubbard was trying to get away from the law because he was trying to be tax exempt. Right. And people in England and I think in America at this point had figured out that he's a bit of a like snake oil salesman.
Yeah.
And so he was like, if I'm in international water, I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
Yep. So he took a ship and he went into international water.
Yeah.
So that's why. Oh, and he used to be in the Navy as well. So he's just like carried over all of those traditions.
But didn't he leave the Navy because he had a bad back? Apparently, not really.
Oh, really?
Yeah, something like that.
I don't know that.
Like he was in it for like
something he
6
would do.
months or something, and then
just like nope out of it.
Yeah.
Because it could be fucked.
I can't do this anymore. My back hurts.
They're not doing it how I want to do it. So I'm going to make my own Navy.
Yes.
With kids and Thetans. So he makes his own Navy and he calls it the Sea Organization. So the bit that Shelley was in, the Commodores messenger organization, and I hadn't known this before, but to me this is super creepy. Like, it's just a load of young girls, basically. From the ages of like 12 to about 16. Yeah. And there's some boys, but the girl who they interview in the show The Aftermath with Leah Remini, she's like, we were 16, but Shelley was only 12. But nobody really considers your age because everybody thinks like everyone's kind of the same age. So you're all treated the same. Apparently, like, Ron Hubbard really took a liking to her.
Oh.
Which... Again, it's not explicitly said, but it's implied. And to me, it just seems a bit like noncy.
Yeah.
It seems like he was surrounded by young girls. And she also said it was like a 3-to-1 ratio of like girls to boys.
Gross.
Which, again, why would that be the case?
Right.
I don't get it. So there was a Sea Org, which was generally people on the ship. And then there's the smaller group that Ron Hubbard had handpicked called the Commodores messenger organization that she was in. And the sort of stuff they would do for him would be like bringing him a chair or holding his ashtray like for him.
My God.
Just like following him around with an ashtray and like cleaning the entire ship like they were always cleaning.
Yeah.
So in Shelley's eyes, Ron Hubbard was the closest thing that she had to a father because her mum and dad had just dropped her off there and left. Well, in Scientology, there's no such thing as a family, really.
Right.
Scientology is your family.
Yeah.
If you say you miss your parents or your parents say they miss you in a letter, like, you get in trouble.
Yeah.
Because you shouldn't be wanting something else. You should be happy with where you are and what you're doing.
Yeah.
So the ship was called the MV Apollo. This was in the 70s. So she was described as quiet, petite, and younger than most of the other messengers at the time, and a bit overshadowed by the older girls. So a guy called Jim Dilcalchi, one of her shipmates, said that she was a sweet, innocent thing and she was just thrown into chaos. So she's in the Sea Org until she's 16 and she meets a fellow CMO member, David Miscavige. And this is in 1977. Yep. Everyone said that they were instantly matched and it was obvious that they were going to get together.
How old was
which
he?
They did end up. He was also 16.
Oh, okay.
So it's not
It
as
wasn't
creepy.
like creepy. Okay.
Yeah, he was just a kid as well. And I saw a picture of him and he's got like a fucking mullet and a mustache like in the 70s.
Of course
like
he did.
now he's like cleaner than clean.
Yeah.
Isn't he? He's like Mr. fucking clean shaven.
Not one hair
smart
out of
haircut,
place.
Scientology.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was like a hippie kid. So he is 5'5" tall and he had asthma as a child. So I'm 5'5". 5'5" is the average height for a woman. So he's a really short guy.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people say has something to do with the way that he acts.
I believe it.
Yeah, me too. So he was brought up in Philadelphia, and his family were also involved with Scientology since he was born. So he was born into it. And by the age of 12, he was conducting auditing sessions with adults.
Wow.
So that's fucking mad, isn't it? Like, you go into a Scientology center and there's a 12-year-old with a couple of cans going, hold these. Have you ever had any gay thoughts?
Yeah.
Like, you just feel
what's
like,
the
fuck?
worst thing that's ever happened to you?
Yeah.
Tell me now.
I know. Yeah, and also, if you don't know what an auditing session is, it's basically where they use this machine called an e-meter, which is just a couple of cans with string on that connect up to a thing that I think it just detects like your heartbeat and stress levels and sweat and stuff.
It's just
right?
like your pulse. Like it's kind of like a lie detector test, except I'm sure
but not
it's
sophisticated.
nowhere as sophisticated or accurate.
No. Also, I watched the episode of South Park last night where they take the piss out of Scientology. I've never seen it before.
I don't think I've seen it either.
Oh, it's really, really good. Yeah, so he is like balls deep in Scientology. So at 16, he dropped out of high school, and like all new Sea Org members, he signed a billion-year contract.
Of course he did.
So yeah, that's what they make you do if you join the Sea Org. They say you're going to sign a billion-year contract. We talked about this last week.
Yeah.
And as to why. So at the age of 21, in December 1982, David Miscavige and Shelly Miscavige got married. So it said that it seemed like they were like deeply in love and like they were a good match.
I believe it.
Yeah, like they both rose through the ranks of Scientology together. So it seems like all is well, basically.
Yeah, until
shortly after this, a lot of shit goes wrong. Shelley's mother, Flo, left Scientology, and she took with her copies of the confidential upper level materials.
Oh,
so usually they say that like once you've done those bits of Scientology, you need to keep those books locked away in a cabinet that only you have the key to, and they're very strict about who can see them, and because it costs so much money to get to that level.
Yeah.
If you don't protect it, then what's the point in charging money for it? Right. So they are furious that she's left with these materials. And with these, she joined David Mayo's Advanced Ability Center, which was an independent Scientology organization.
Oh.
So I didn't realize these existed. But some people have broken off and started their own Scientology, but like without the beatings and stuff.
Without all the bad stuff.
Yeah, they're basically like reading Ron Hubbard's books and being like, yeah, we believe all this stuff, but like you don't have to work for hours and hours, and you don't have to like do all this other stuff, like, and they don't like make you pay money and stuff,
or
just,
sign
like,
a billion-year contract, or have a freeloader debt.
So they kind of treat it just like a normal religion, and obviously Scientology wants to stamp this out, right? So they call people practicing Scientology outside of the official organization squirrels. That's like their name for them. I don't know like why, but that's just their nickname for people who do that. And yeah, they're looked on very badly. So on September the 8th, 1985, Shelley's mother was 52 and she was found dead from a shot to the head from a Ruger rifle. She also had 3 gunshot wounds to the chest. One was a surface wound, one went through a breast implant, and one passed through her left lung and fractured a rib.
Whoa.
So yeah, that's 4 shots, right?
Yeah.
And then the autopsy showed there were old wounds on her wrist from a possible suicide attempt.
Oh.
That were probably like a couple of days old, they said. But then the death was ruled a suicide.
What? How can
Who shoots themselves fucking 4 times and then in the head? Exactly. It's ridiculous.
Unless you're a really, really bad shot. Man, that sounds brutal.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think it was a suicide. Let's just put it that way.
I me neither.
I think there's been some sort of backhand deal done with the coroner on that one. So, David Miscavige was reported to comment about his wife's mother's death. That bitch got what she deserved.
Whoa. Clearly not
so
a
that's
suicide.
Nice of you. Yeah. So David, this is like common knowledge, but David was said to have a hair trigger temper.
Yeah.
And he'd have sudden outbursts of verbal and physical violence. And according to several sources, at one point he'd punched his own auditor. So he's just
poor guy,
fucking mental. I know.
David, I'm just doing my job.
It's probably a 12-year-old.
Oh no.
So after the death of L. Ron Hubbard in 1987, David Miscavige became chairman of the board of Scientology's Religious Technology Center.
Mm-hmm.
So he's essentially L. Ron Hubbard now.
Yeah.
He is head of everything. But he's kind of like the Pope. Like,
right.
You know he's the head of it, but not many people see him.
Yeah.
He's not that involved. And Shelley became his official assistant.
Assistant?
Yeah, that's her title.
Okay.
Assistant. Doesn't sound that great.
I don't like that.
But, no. Her role was extremely high profile, with some calling her the First Lady of Scientology. There's some footage of her in public from September 2004 when she was with David Miscavige and Tom Cruise at the Ideal Org opening in Madrid. So some sort of Scientology opening.
Okay.
It was at that event that that Tom Cruise admitted to David that after breaking up with Penelope Cruz, he was looking for a new girlfriend. Shelley was like really involved with this, and she dealt with a lot of celebrities and was closely involved with the indoctrination of Penelope Cruz so that she could marry Tom Cruise.
Okay.
So she made sure that she put her through something called the church's Purification Rundown Program.
Yeah.
Which is probably just like shitloads of auditing.
It is. It's kind of what Leah Remini had to go through when she had done this, huge mistake of asking where Shelley was.
Asked questions.
She had to go through the purification process.
Whatever the fuck that means. Yeah, so unfortunately the relationship between Penelope Cruz and Tom Cruise didn't last. And so it was rumoured that Shelley was helping Tom find another suitable girlfriend. So like there's rumours that they did auditions for his girlfriend, but they didn't tell the women what they were auditioning for.
Which is what they talk about in Going Clear, the documentary. They talk about a specific actress that I don't think she wasn't that well known, but
is she called Nazanin Boniardi?
Yes, that was her.
Yeah.
And they talk about her or are you going to talk about her or?
Not too much, no.
Oh, okay. They just say about how she went on this like lavish date with Tom Cruise, and then he decided to take her away, and they were going to have dinner with her and David Miscavige and Shelley, and then she got a migraine and she was like, I can't have dinner. Tom Cruise was so angry because he was going to have dinner with David Miscavige and Shelley, and this woman just insulted him, and that was the end of their relationship, and she never got to speak to him again. And she was like, I thought we were dating. Like,
wow.
Yeah.
All I've got is an actress named Nazanin Boniardi was introduced to Cruise and dated him for a few months before he broke off the relationship.
Yeah.
In January 2005, but that's brilliant.
Yeah.
I didn't know why he broke it off.
Yeah.
Because she had a headache.
She had a headache. So, that was it.
Fuck you.
I'm glad she had a headache got out of it.
Yeah, thank God. Then actress Katie Holmes began dating Tom Cruise in April 2005. As she was raised Catholic, she had to start studying Scientology. They got engaged in June 2005, only 7 weeks after meeting. Not a good idea.
No. Katie, I'm
shortly
sorry.
After this,
sorry you went through this. She was young, too.
Oh, God. Yeah, I think so. Also, like, I cannot wait until, like, Tom Cruise dies and she just comes out and tells everything.
And her daughter, too. Like, Suri Cruise.
He doesn't see her.
No.
Tom Cruise doesn't see Suri Cruise at all.
Good.
So Katie Holmes must have some pretty fucking good evidence of him being a nutbag.
Oh, man.
Otherwise, it would be shared custody.
Katie, I am waiting.
Like, she must have.
I'm waiting for your
Yeah,
podcast.
I would. I want that fucking court document.
Yes.
So anyway, shortly after this, she became pregnant with their daughter, Suri.
Mm-hmm.
As 2005 progressed, Valerie Heaney, who was close friends with Shelley, and she's now Leah Remini's PA.
Oh.
So her and Mike Rinder both reported that the relationship between Dave and Shelley was becoming strained as they lived at the international base known as the Gold Base. So
Where's
this
that?
is a 500-acre near Hemet, California.
Oh, okay.
Is it close?
I have no idea, but I feel like that's where Louis Theroux went when he tried to like get onto the grounds. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So it's a 500-acre international management compound near Hemet, California. And this is, so this would have been where Louis Theroux went, because this is where David Miscavige had created the Hole.
Yes.
Which is basically a prison for people who he doesn't like.
Some
and
pope.
That's, that's where Mike Rinder was for a very long time. Like 3 years, was it, or something?
Wow.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, people are there for years and they just get beaten the shit out of by David Miscavige. And they basically try and like reprogram you.
Nuts.
To not want to leave by like just breaking your spirit. So
brainwashing.
And abuse.
Yeah.
And also Shelley was like quite a nice person. Like,
I believe it.
Leah Remini was really good friends with her. They would like write letters back and forth to each other, like actual letters.
Yeah.
And sometimes like apparently Shelley would write a letter and be like, I'm so sorry I haven't answered sooner, like please forgive me. Like, she was just really sweet.
Yeah.
Basically, she saw that David Miscavige was starting to become really erratic.
Okay.
And like just fucking physically attacking people for no reason. So she took it upon herself to make a few changes and rearrange some job positions so that some people were less likely to be in contact with David Miscavige, because he had like victimized them.
Yeah.
So she was like, I'm going to move these people around so that they don't have to be near him all the time.
I wonder what he was like with her though.
And well, there is a little bit of that. I got a little bit of that in there.
Okay.
So she also created up his belongings so that a long planned renovation to their quarters could finally get going. So he was away while she was making all these job changes. And when he came back, he lost his temper with her returned to Los Angeles.
Yikes.
So on November the 18th, 2006, Katie Holmes and Tom Cruise were married in a Scientologist ceremony at the 15th century castle Bracciano, Italy. It was the Scientology event of the century. David Miscavige was Tom Cruise's best man. Tom Cruise, have you not got any other mates?
No.
Obviously not. That's so sad. Like,
it's really sad.
Honestly, what a crawly bum lick as well. Like,
well, they're both in each other's pockets. Like, David Miscavige needs Tom Cruise, just like Tom Cruise needs David Miscavige. They both need each other.
They are so gaying it off together. Like, they are so gay together. Swear to God. Man. Anyway, that's what's going on, I reckon. It's all going to come out. It's all going to be one big mess, Rachel.
I believe it.
As you said in your story last week, actress Leah Remini was asked to invite as many celebrities as she could, including Jennifer Lopez, who I found out through the podcast, her father is a Scientologist, but she isn't. That's good. And usually you would have to cut off all contact. Yeah. With somebody who isn't a Scientologist. So if you're a Scientologist and your daughter isn't, you cut her out of your life and you don't speak to her. Yeah. Obviously, if your daughter's Jennifer Lopez, the fucking rules are a bit different, I suppose. And she can come to Tom Cruise's wedding. Yes. So
she's a superstar, so obviously all bets are off.
Yeah, do whatever you want, apparently. But one person who was notably absent was Shelly Miscavige. This was in 2006. And then in 2007, her dad died at the age of 77. Aww. And since her so she's got no parents anymore, which is worth noting because they could ask questions about her. Right. Or confirm her whereabouts or whatever. So since her absence from the wedding, there was intrigue and speculation as to where she could be. Leah Remini said that every time she asked about Shelley, she got the runaround with various excuses like she's on a project or visiting a sick relative.
Right.
Those who had known Shelley and had now left Scientology reported that there was an incident. So I watched this last night, right? So they were at the Gold Center and there's a massive vault there for some reason. Because I think basically the whole point of that place is to preserve the works of Ron Hubbard for future
the precious
worlds.
Works of another madman.
So they literally... Yeah, so they literally like have carved them into like fucking
oh my god,
some sort of stone that can't be destroyed by anything. Like it's
platinum,
gold,
plutonium,
yeah, all that kind of shit. Yep. And there's a Scientology promotion video that details everything that they've done to preserve his words.
Did you watch it?
That's where they are. Yep, it's on the Aftermath. It's like episode. It's on the episode like 9 where is Shelley.
Oh yes, I remember that. I do remember that.
So basically the guy, I can't remember his name, but he was at the Gold Center with Shelley and David. And David was like standing next to a vault and he said, Shelley, where did we put the gold? Where did we bury the gold? And she's like, what gold? Like she had no idea what he was talking about.
Yeah.
And then she later confided to the colleague that witnessed it. She was like, I think David is losing it.
Yeah.
And that was all that was said. But because Scientologists are encouraged to report on one another for infractions, like it wasn't mentioned again ever.
Right. Who would you report it to? Because who's above David Miscavige?
David Miscavige. Yeah, there's no one.
Yeah.
So she, like, I think they both thought, shit, like, we've said that. Let's just never mention it again. So
it's the Simpson like melting back into the bush.
Yeah, exactly. Where have we buried the gold? Yeah. Melt back into the bush. So multiple sources have alleged that she disappeared from the gold base after she filled all the jobs without David Miscavige's permission. In July 2012, responding to press accounts of speculation on her whereabouts, Scientologist lawyers who represented her informed 2 UK newspapers that she is not missing and devotes her time to the work of the Church of Scientology.
Well, then where?
Exactly. None of your business, apparently.
Yeah.
So in 2013, after more than 30 years in Scientology and after years of punishment for asking where Shelley was, Leah publicly left Scientology and filed a missing persons report with the LAPD.
Yeah.
They came back and said that they had located Shelley and that she was fine. And that was it. They wouldn't say anything else. Again, not saying.
Oh my God.
So the LAPD declined to answer any questions about the details of the report.
They were paid off.
Yeah, pretty much. Lawrence Wright, who's a journalist who's written a lot about Scientology, reports that former Sea Org members say that she's being held under guard at the Gold Base. Ex-Scientologists believe this to be true, and that she was then exiled to one of the several secretive and highly guarded bases that the church owns in remote Western locations. There, sources say that those who have been banned, which is like another like word for you know too much, so we can't let you go, but we're gonna
keep eye
you're
on
not
you.
into this anymore.
Yeah.
So they just endure lives of isolation, menial labor, and just breaking rocks, basically. So Vanity Fair wrote an article about her whereabouts, and the church representative called their questions ludicrous and offensive. Additionally, the representative described Shelly Miscavige as a private person who has been working non-stop in the church, as she always has. According to the podcast Fair Game, episode 13, which is a Q&A with Mike Rinder and Leah Remini, this is the most common question they get asked, like, where is Shelly Miscavige? They have no update, but their latest information is that she is being kept in a centre called CST, which is the Church of Spiritual Technology, which is the organisation to archive for all time the works of L. Ron Hubbard. And that is in Arrowhead, California, San Bernardino County.
Oh, that's not far.
On top of a hill near the ski area, Rim of the World is the name of the town.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll go there when you come.
Oh my god, we're gonna find her. So the place she's being held has 2 fences apart from one another, and the only house near is owned by Scientology and guarded by security that they hire. There's some rumors that she's in the hole. So Leah Remini says they're constantly asked, could Shelley be in the hole? And they say no, because the hole is located at the base where Shelley was taken away from.
Oh.
And we have eyewitnesses that the people in the hole from 2005 to 2016, and Shelley's not there.
Okay.
So Valerie Heaney, who I mentioned earlier, who worked directly for them and is now Leah's assistant, the last time that she saw Shelley was in 2007, and she was being taken away from the place where the hole is in a black SUV and was crying but was trying to hide it.
Oh, Shelley.
So, yeah. Mike Rinder said that he's known Shelley since she was 12 and is very sad and hopes she's okay, but he believes she's so brainwashed and controlled that she probably doesn't even want to leave. And it's also been discussed that as she has had such a close relationship with Ron Hubbard, she believes in the prophecy that he will return and is waiting for him. So basically, he says, you have your life. Him. Yeah. So he said they're still building houses for his return.
Yeah.
He was meant to come back 21, like you're meant to have a break of 21 years when you die, and then you come back as another person.
Yeah.
So they're still waiting for this like prophet of L. Ron Hubbard to arrive.
The Celebrity Center has a room that they make the bed every day for him, like with fresh sheets, fluffed up pillows. Like the room is cleaned every day, ready for L. Ron Hubbard's return.
Yeah, and Shelley apparently truly believes that that's going to happen.
Apparently.
So, apparently.
Yeah.
He's about 10 years late at present. So, she has not been seen for 13 years at this time in public. Oh, no, that's not. No. What is it now? 2021. 14 years then she's not been seen for.
Wow.
And that is the story of Shelly Miscavige.
Good job. There was some stuff in there that I had no idea about.
I told you, Rachel, that hole, I am in there so deep.
Well done.
I'm so tired. But
I'm ready to close this book on Scientology.
It's been a fucking... I really have. It's been a fucking trip, though.
Yeah.
Like, every time I think I'm done and there's no more mad shit I can find out about Scientologists, there's so much more. It's like turning over a paving slab and seeing like a million more wood lice just going, ah!
Can you just tell me, you sent me a screenshot the other day of somebody who got blood drawn and it had something to do with Scientology. Do you remember?
Yeah. It's because my friend Ada knows that I'm down this hole right now. And she was like, I've got something for you that's Scientology hole related.
It's so crazy.
And I was like, okay. And then I sent it to you. So basically it was on Twitter.
Yeah.
Somebody called Kelly Turnbull. I don't know if it's a man or a woman, but they say Scientologists using an endocrinology clinic. What's that? Anyway, so Scientologists using an endocrinology clinic as a front for a recruitment center stole my blood when I went in to find out if I had thyroid cancer, and I still don't know what they did with it.
So endocrinologists, they diagnose and treat conditions like diabetes, thyroid diseases, and infertility, growth issues. So it's basically like
anything to do with stuff you can find out from your blood, I guess.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
That's stressful.
So, and then somebody said, like, how did you know that it was Scientology? Like, how did you find that out? And they say they took my blood and never called me back. So that's so dangerous.
Yeah.
So after about a month, I went looking for their number to contact them and found out that they had been paying Yelp to suppress negative reviews and that they were outing them as Scientology recruiters.
That's nuts.
It's just fucking, it's like that. It's like when you say like, oh, come to a free acting class.
Yep.
Psych, it's Scientology.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's also,
what else?
It's completely preying on the vulnerable. Like, you're going in to find out if you have thyroid cancer. What?
I'd be chasing that up too.
You're not thinking about whether your blood is being taken by some cult member at all. You're just like, I want to find out if I'm gonna
also, those
die.
people are not qualified.
No.
Like, they are not qualified in anything apart from scrubbing floors.
Yeah.
Like, also, I was watching like the first episode of the Aftermath. Like, I think they're on series 3 now.
Mm-hmm.
But they were talking to some Jehovah's Witnesses, and this woman on there, a Jehovah's Witness, said that she fucking used to go through the obituaries and find out if someone had recently died so that she could go to their house because she knew that they would be vulnerable.
Oh, that's horrible.
How bad is that?
That's totally what Scientologists do, though. I totally see that.
I can't fucking believe it.
What kind of person are you? How brainwashed do you have to be? Or, what are you thinking?
That's so cruel.
It is.
Yeah, it's just... Anyway, so if you want to get down that hole and never come out again, like me, then come down with me down here. Yes, it's really weird.
Join us. Join us in
Join
the hole.
us. It's just fucking crackers.
This is completely not related, but it kind of is. There's another podcast that I listen to, and they do say that. They're like, join us in the pit. You've arrived in the pit if you watch this certain show and you know all the lingo for it and stuff.
Oh my god. I did it with lobotomies as well. I went down the lobotomy hole for ages.
Oh my gosh.
My brother does it every year with 9/11. Just because obviously every year, they bring out memorial shows and stuff, or remind you of what happened, and you're just like, oh yeah, and then you just start digging into all the details. Oh god, what's wrong with us?
I don't know. I haven't been down a hole for
time
a while.
to answer that.
I think I'm due for a hole jump soon. What should I jump into?
Let me know. I almost went into Iceman, but then Scientology sucked me in. So Iceman's half dug.
Maybe I'll do a Patreon episode where I go down just a random... It doesn't even have to do with murder or true crime. It's just old hole.
I think a good idea for Patreon episodes is to just put subjects in a hat and shake it about and then just pick one and be like, right, this is the hole you're going down. Yeah. We'll do that.
Okay. Aliens. Okay.
Oh, I don't want that one.
Ghosts. Survivalists. What else? Some weird stuff. Astral projection. That's probably the last hole I went down. Astral projection.
I don't even know what that is.
Well, I guess I'll go down the hole again and I'll talk to you about it for our Patreon episode.
I'll drag some stuff out. Okay, mate. All right, I'm about to fall asleep.
Me too.
So I'll speak to you soon.
All right, thanks for listening. Bye.
Love you, bye.
Thanks for listening to Transatlantic Crime this week. If you liked what you heard, please rate, review, and subscribe.
And if you'd like to follow us on social media, you can find us on Twitter at TransatCrimePod, Instagram at Transatlantic Crime, and on Facebook with Transatlantic Crime Podcast.
Thanks, bye.